Hey guys, I really wanted to leave you today with a transmission around the energy of self-doubt and something that we could break down as a dimension of the heart versus the dimension of the mind. I feel it's something that is really present and alive in us right now, that is really a journey of like refinement that we keep refining more and more. And actually, the thing is that the more that you expand into higher states of awareness, the more you're able to identify the space of the mind versus the space of the heart. So at any point during this video, let me know your experience as well. If you're feeling that extreme heightening of mental battle and all this different overwhelmingness of the distortions that could be within. And I'm going to kind of break down here like a little bit more of the energetics of what is that, because there's also a very big misunderstanding or misconception of like being in the heart. What does that mean? And it's kind of, that's something that's super important, is that we cannot understand, we cannot translate or decode or bring to words the dimension of the heart from a space of the mind. That means that we cannot project an idea of what the heart is from our mind and what we believe we want it to be, because then what is actually happening is that we are coming from the space of the mind. So actually we are in the dimension of the mind. The dimension of the heart is really that state where it is what is, first and foremost. And how I'm going to explain how it's even linked to self-doubt, because what happens is that in the space of the heart, it just is pure expression of you. It's pure energy. It's the core. It's literally divine neutrality, whatever you want to call it. It's core, it's flow. And that's the thing, is that if we're trying to place even words towards the experience, it can be a little bit challenging. But this dynamic is really important to notice, because you might notice yourself that when you're in a state of flow, when you're in a state where, really the best example I can describe, visualize, imagine, feel an artist or a musician. When they're playing their own tunes, when they're playing their music, they are fully in the flow. They are in the dimension of the heart. They are in that quantum field, in the divine field. There is no disruption of anything. There's no disruption of thought. There's no disruption of infiltrated or separated parts within themselves. They're in whole, they're in totality. They're just playing their music and they're just expressing it. It's something that comes from the core out, and they're pushing out, emanating their energy. It's a push out energy, rather than something that is confined, that is restricted, that is trying to limit and control and manage. There's none of that. That is literally the best way I can describe this energy right now, where the energy, it's to really notice the difference and to allow, because when there's this heightened state of awareness, and I speak many times in that channel, is that it can feel sometimes like it's not a curse, but it feels like it's a challenge. It's difficult, because the more that you're aware, the more that you're aware. Meaning that the more that you're aware of everything inside you, everything gets heightened that before wasn't. And that is the misunderstanding, is that we think that when the mind wants to understand an evolutionary concept, when the mind wants to understand something that it doesn't know because it's new, it takes it out of its potential, it takes it out of its pure form. So in this path, the more that you're evolving into higher states of awareness, it's an expansion of the mind. It's an expansion of the whole operating system that we're in. So the mind cannot try to make sense of it, because then what happens is that it's controlling it. It's trying to box it. It's trying to identify it and place it in an old paradigm when it cannot fit. So when you are noticing these aspects within you, really notice that that is, and that it really comes so strongly in, it's the space of the higher truth. Anytime you feel like you're in chaos, anytime you feel like you're in a disruption of energy, anytime you feel like there's something that is stopping your light, something that is stopping you from getting clarity on moving towards specific directions, on knowing in any sort of interaction what is the highest truth for you, and any obstacle that you're facing, that is the thing, that is the higher truth. Because especially right now, in that realm of so many confusion, and I speak about this also for a while, especially this year, there's a lot of opposing perspectives, there's a lot of confusion, there's a lot of that feeling of like, you know, the dark night of the soul. There's this aspect of like a lot of darkness. Where is the light? What is ahead? We are in very chaotic times because a lot of revelations are coming up that are only creating whether dissonance in our head, cognitive dissonance, or they're creating a lot of more questions, a lot of change in the way that we perceive reality. So there is a sort of discrepancy in the way that what the energy world and the reality is acquiring of us, and where the brain is trying to catch up with what is the experience and what is witnessing. So that is why the only way to know what is that highest truth is really the space where there is no persona, there is no self-doubt, there is no any part of you that is trying to lock you, to stop you from being in that flow. And so the key to understand, to know, okay, what is the highest truth, is really that space where you can be in flow. And noticing that if there's those disruptions of ideas that are really constructs of the mind that are trying to do, and as I'm saying, they're getting more heightened because the distortion in the world is getting heightened. So you may notice that there's many separations, even breaking down into like kind of separations within separations within separations, kind of like the dream within the dream within the dream, inception like, because it's very multi-layered, right? And they're all trying to take a hold of reality. And so it's very important to find that core in the center. And it's not really a space of finding actually or seeking. It's a place of allowing, of letting. It's literally the space. But at the same time, if there's a lot of those disruptions in and outside, what actually is required in admonition, it's kind of, as I was saying, the expression of your core. We live in a world where everything is literally amazing. It's like the mirror reality is not mirroring us. It's all the time just mirroring distortions. So it's literally feel like all the time kind of playing catch and like hide and seek or something, because the world, it does not make it easy or supportive to believe in the light, to believe in divinity, to have faith, to believe in the magic world, to believe in that space of claiming and owning your light, claiming and owning your divinity, claiming and owning who you are. So due to programming, being born in it, but also at the same time just being part of this operation, this mechanical reality that we're in the world, it's a challenge. It's literally the path of the true warrior to I want to say conquer, but it's literally like take a hold of those parts that are just constantly coming in to separate you further, to create more separation within you, rather than actually be in that state of full expression of yourself, fully emitting out. So most of the time, what you may notice is that you're just playing a game, playing a specific dynamic in the background, in the shadow, and it's very subtle, But it could be right now a bit more heightened that you may notice it. But it could be subtle in nature, where you find yourself, there's sabotage, there's something where you're judging yourself, you're maybe afraid of other people's judgment. And something I've been talking about also a lot lately, and I'm going to tag a video about this, a projection trap, where you feel like, are you absorbing, are you emitting, are you acting from who you are you acting from the other person's projection of you because you want to be loved? There's all those fears operating inside of you, and that is what is actually steering the show. But instead, when you're in that state where it's literally having the awareness of what is going on and at the same time emanating out, like literally the best example I can give, when you say dance as if nobody's watching, that's it. Dance your own tune, dance your own expression, your own essence into existence as if nobody's watching, as if you literally don't care what's going on, even within yourself. All these different parts and voices within you that tell you that judge you, that make you doubt your light, that make you doubt everything that you are, that make you doubt what you see, feel, sense at the corest of who you are. This is very personal to you, but anything that would make you not stand in that sovereignty of your light, that you know that energy is in you and is just literally ready to be emitted out. It's literally ready to be danced, sang, like it's literally ready to be painted. But there's all those different limitations that are self-created, imposed on from whatever, it doesn't matter here. But they're now within you. So now they're within you, whether they've been imposed from somewhere else or you've imposed them on yourself. Now you have the key to say, I don't want to do this anymore. What does it take right now for me to recognize this dimension of the heart, that is the dimension of pure expression, that requires of me a proactive reality to actually push out that expression? We cannot say that we are in that space as if like you have a guitar, you play the guitar, you're holding the guitar, but you're not playing it. That's what it feels like right now. It's like everyone has this untapped potential, this untapped divine expression, the divine spark within their light, their power, their divine power. That is the example of the guitar or the brush or whatever you want to call it in terms of that. But it's wasting it. It's like you're just standing there and you know deep down, that is very important. Know your gift. Claim it. The world might not celebrate you for it. The world might not cheerlead you for it. The world might not be your support system. They might not. Don't expect them to be. Because the world is not you. Okay? And the world is not made, that's what I'm saying, it's not programmed, designed this way to say, okay, here's the untapped potential of this person. Boom! Okay, let's bring some blue light over there, and let's bring some yellow light over there, and let's bring this expression, let's celebrate all of our different expressions. It doesn't operate like this, because what it operates on is copying. Okay? It's putting frames of operation, because that frame, it's like a tool. This frame that you are fits this box and then has a higher purpose for supporting the false matrix, the false system. So that is what they want, a specific operation system that's a copy of each other, not celebrating uniqueness, not celebrating your light inside. So what it takes here is for you to hold that, choose that, and say, you know what, against all odds, I am this unicorn in a field of just horses. So where you will be celebrated, and it might not be in your reality right now, that's what I'm saying. You will be celebrated when other people are doing the same. They are working on accessing that untapped potential. They're working on accessing their gifts, their divine expression, and bringing it out to the world. They're purposefully and actively working on emanating that heart space, that heart energy. And again, as I'm saying, it's not something that our mind makes sense of what the heart is. It's literally that state of you, your purest expression. And everything else, if you are in that environment, that other people are doing it, that is what we want to seek right now. That is what we want to call in. Place that intention of being surrounded, call in into your reality, that reflection of the harnessing that divine power, harnessing, embodying that divine light, rather than be in competition, rather than be in comparison, rather than be in this model of copying, because we don't want to break free. And when I say break free, it's also interesting. That's why I'm saying words are interesting, because then it's like a limitation. But in a way, you are putting those chains on yourself by doubting yourself, by judging yourself. It is true. And in a way, it's not like, even when you're saying it, it's not coming from a space of negativity, where you, even because then there's this part of you, that's what I'm saying, it's like layers within layers, because then there's this part of you that is judging or rejecting the judger. Or for example, there's part of you that is rejecting the one that is doubting themselves. It's literally a zillion layers of separation, of distortion. And what's that space is like, none of that exists. And for that to dissipate, it requires you, the inner you, to come out and come through all of this. It's like, literally just like seeing the kind of that visual where all those voices, all those parts of you, whatever you want to call it, they're just, and you find yourself, you're going like this. And you're shutting down, and you're in a weird space with yourself. You're battling with yourself. You're battling with your mind. You're in a heavy energy, whatever you want to call it. And you might find yourself stuck there. And then what it requires is to say, I'm going actually to hold that guitar and just play it. And the more that you actually play it, symbolically, which is with yourself, which is bringing out your gift, bring out your energy, it's not going to be that the moment you hold it, then those, whatever it is that we're bringing you down or getting you to play small, it's not like they're going to be gone. It's that the more, and maybe the more that you do it, the more they're going to be louder. But you keep going and keep going and keep going without giving up, without giving up, without giving up. That is the way to calibrate into that space. And I understand, and again, that's what I'm saying, it's literally the path of the warrior, because it requires energy. It requires action. It requires holding the attention, holding the focus. It requires being aware and actively holding space for all of this in order to move through. And that is not for the faint-hearted. That is not for... It's easy, because it's easy to say, why? What's the purpose? This is just, I'm just going to submit. I'm going to succumb to this. But actually deep down, you know that you have that key. You know that that is what you're here for. And right now, the purpose of this is, I don't care in this moment about anything going on, the different narratives, or maybe the different truth, dark truth that are happening. They're there. But at the core, at the essence, this is what you're here to do. And you're going to do whatever it takes, maybe to change your life, to support this reality. Because that is what is required of us right now. Fully. So I'm going to leave you with this right here from the woods where I was hosting a retreat. Definitely, if you're looking forward to journeying with me in my next retreat, please check out my website. I would be looking forward to meeting you there. And if you resonate with this message, please share it with other people that may benefit from this. And don't forget also to like and subscribe to my channel so you can get more updates on my future videos, and also that will support me also to do more of this and to show up more for that. Okay, much love.